This is LMU I'm Scott Erland in with LMU men's basketball coach Josh Schertz for our 2015-16 basketball preview. This is part one, but first we're going to look back on the 2014-15 season. Coach, obviously arguably one of the most accomplished seasons, probably the most successful season in the history of the men's basketball program here, over 100-year history. The list of accomplishments, probably too many to go into detail right now, but when you go back and reflect on the 2014-15 season, how do you look back on that season? How do your players discuss that season?
I think it was a great season that probably ended horribly, I guess would be the way to describe it. Anytime you have the amount of success that those guys did and you win 30 games and put yourself in the position we did to host the NCAA tournament, obviously you have a lot of good things happen, a lot of success. But at the end of the day, I think one of our goals is always be playing our best basketball at the end of the season and playing our best when it matters most. And for whatever reason, from that game at Carson Newman, where we kind of had, in a way, kind of bounced back and won that game over at their place at Whole Fieldhouse, I felt like complacency set in. We weren't the same. We didn't play with that same edge that we had. And we kind of won a real tough game at Catawba, played, I thought, without energy and kind of found a way to win against Brevard. Really were outplayed for the entire 40 minutes against Queens and made a few plays down the stretch to get that. And I remember sitting down with those guys after that game, telling them we were living on borrowed time. And sure enough, next day it came due against Carson Newman. And as I said in that press conference after that game, that was an entitled team playing a hungry team, and then I thought in the NCAA tournament we had great preparation and played terrific against North Greenville. I thought we got our edge back, and the next night, against Mount Olive, I thought it was like anything, a confluence of factors. First, was Mount Olive's great play. Second was very, very poor play on our part. We did a poor job of attacking how they were guarding us, and so ultimately at the end of the day we get down 28-5. I was proud of how we fought. We just couldn't ever get over the hump, couldn't put any game pressure on them, and they were very very deserving to come away with a win that night. So I think when you reflect on it, 30-3, a regular season championship and hosting the region, there's a lot of things to feel good about. That being said, I think when you look at it, you also understand with how it ended, we got to get better, and we can't cry about it or whatever. It's got to be on to what we can do from the preseason and off season and into now preparations to try to get better so we can have a better chance here at the end of the year and hopefully avoid kind of that letdown that we had there in the end of February of 2015.
In your 7 seasons, it's been continual growth. It's been kind of about that. And last year was another kind of stepping stone up. And we had been knocking on the door hosting the Southeast Regional for the last 4 years. And then finally, we got that opportunity. A wonderful experience for everyone involved. What was that experience like for your team and you personally?
I think it was fun, like you said, because we had been so close so many other times. I think the previous 4 years, I could be wrong, but I think we were number one in the region, like going into the tournament. I think each of the last 4 years, maybe, or 1 or 2 in the region going to the tournament. So we had opportunities, and either we didn't win the tournament, or we did, but somebody else, had a better strength of schedule, whatever the case may be. So, we had been knocking on the door, hosting that. I thought it was great to bring teams into Harrogate. I thought we did an unbelievable job. Roger Benoit and the entire athletic department, along with the administration, created a fantastic experience. I thought we had, from the hotel standpoint and things you would be concerned with. I thought that the tournament was, other than the wrong team winning, the tournament was run outstanding. And so credit to all the people here. I thought it was great for the community, and hopefully was something that our guys, like I said, other than the way we played on that Saturday or Sunday, I think it was an enjoyable experience for everybody involved, and it was great to play at home. It was great to play in front of our home fans, and we wish we would have performed better. But outside of that, I thought it was terrific. And like you said, the wait kind of made it more special because we had been so close and not finished it however it needed to be finished. So to finally get it was exciting. Now, hopefully, if we can get it again, we can play a little better next time.
A great start to last season. Win 20 straight games. It was the second longest winning streak in program and SAC history, which we own the conference record of 22 straight games. Get to number one in the country, and then you talked about at the end of the season how things were a little bit different. Bounce back from that win. You talked about the Queens game too. What do you think was exactly the difference? Is there anything that you could pinpoint from that first 20 games to maybe that stretch run there?
Well, I think last year's team, we came into the season and you lose Vincent Bailey, who was, first team All-American and a guy that deservedly got a lot of attention and a lot of recognition. And Chance Jones, who would average, 15, 16 points a game, was an all-league player. And so we really had a lot of question marks. And we were picked to win the league. But anybody, and I think we were ranked around 25 nationally, but we were picked to win the league and ranked nationally based on, past stuff. There was nothing indicating. We were very young and really inexperienced. And so I think that group came in with a little bit of an edge to it, a little bit of wanting to prove that, hey, we're more than Vinny Bailey and Chance Jones. And we had a lot of guys that, that were in that scenario. So it's, from our standpoint, I thought we responded well. We came out, wanted to prove ourselves. We're able to prove ourselves and then get better, grow, really stay immersed in the process. And then at a certain point, we got number one in the country and things got a little bit different for us. And I think Carson Newman came in and really, whipped up on us. And then I thought we got back. And I thought we really practiced well, played well. Went back into Carson Newman. I thought played as well as we played all year. And then we left there, and again, all those things are so fragile. We maybe thought we were better than we were. The standard kind of went away. We didn't practice as well. And obviously, if it was something I could have corrected, I would have. I would have. We tried everything in our power to let them know, hey, we're not working the way we need to work on an everyday basis. And at the end of the day, we just kind of let go of the rope. And I think it came to bite us against Carson Newman, but I don't think that was the case in the NCAA tournament. I thought our preparation that week was fantastic. I thought we played an exceptional game in the opening night, and as good as we were the opening night, we were equally as bad the second night. But again, a lot of credit to Mount Olive because a lot of what we struggle with, they made it happen. They played very well. They made us struggle, and hopefully, like I said, if we're back in that situation, we'll handle it a little bit better. But I think we lost a chunk of time from the end of February to the middle of March.
Of all the accomplishments, everything, the first team in SAC history to win 3 straight regular season titles, 30 wins, first time in the NCAA era here, number 1 ranking, hosting the NCAA regional. Of all those things, is there any one accomplishment that you were most proud of for that team? Not for yourself, but for the team.
Well, I just think that we had a group of guys that really, for a lot of the year, maxed out. We didn't finish that way, but I'm probably proudest of the fact of just who they were more than probably what they accomplished. We had great guys in the locker room. We had guys that cared about one another. I think we all left last year better people for going through it. And maybe it didn't end the way we wanted to, but that's also part of life lessons. And I don't think, when you think back on a season like last year, there's obviously some really good moments, but I think I'm always more into the process and more into the relational side, and you kind of realize as you get on that really more the trophies and the rings are kind of symbolic. It's more about the relationships. It's more about going through the journey and kind of getting it with a group of people that you enjoy being around. And sometimes it ends well, sometimes it doesn't. That's sports, that's life. You're not going to get everything you want. But I was really proud of that group, and really for 98% of the season, we played about as well as we could play. I mean, it wasn't a group that came in with a tremendous amount of experience. It wasn't a group that came in with a bunch of proven guys. It was, if you really think back about it, you had Lorenzo Ross, and really that was it. that was a proven. I mean, Luquan had been a role player. KP had been a 5-point a game guy. Dorian was brand new. I mean, you had all these things that were, Webb was a 2 or 3 point a game guy. I mean, there was not a built-in deal. So I was really proud of how they grew, how they developed. And while we're not thrilled the way it finished, I think, again, everybody that was involved in that is better coming out of it, because I think we understand why we got good, and maybe then why we didn't continue to grow. And so hopefully for the guys that are pros now, guys like Lorenzo, KP, they take that experience with them to the next level, and the guys are returning to use that experience to if we're fortunate to find ourselves in a similar situation where you're having success, to not let go of the rope, to not stop working, to stay involved in the growth versus getting involved in the results.